Welcome to round number 8 of Tata Steel Chess 2026. And the first game we're gonna look at is Vladimir Fedoseev versus Gukesh. Gukesh, who has lost back-to-back games to Nodirbek Abdusattorov first and then to Anish, is now looking to strike back with black pieces. He's playing Vladimir Fedoseev, who has a shaky tournament. He lost to Hans in the first round, he beat Vincent, he beat Arjun, and then he made a lot of draws, but yeah, he can beat these top players, and let's see what happened in this game. So d4, knight f6, c4 e6, and we have names on the board. Queen c2 main line, d5, knight f3. So I'm not sure if Gukesh wanted to go for something like castle and then play, let's say, this position, for example, knight f3, e6, queen c4, b6, something like e3, bishop a6, queen a4, king d7, and this position is basically known for, you know, drawish tendencies or something like this. But okay, he goes d5, he goes castle, now he goes b6, bishop b7, he's going for a fight. C takes d5, e takes d5, a3, bishop e7. So what I don't like about this position when you look at it with black is that bishop on b7 is kind of pointing towards c5 pawn, which is not that good. Of course, the c5 break is very important in this position, but again, even if you play c5, it won't lead to basically solving all your problems, because still, knight d5, castle, some f4 plans, maybe b4 to just make sure, make it hard for black to play c5. So we have b4 immediately, knight bd7, rook b1, c6, castle, bishop d6, knight h4, and now knight is slowly coming to f5. Rook e8, knight f5, bishop f8, and now f3. The idea is, of course, to play e4 at some point, but e4 immediately is just probably too early, because there might be potential ideas to still play c5. So we first gotta prepare it with white pieces. So rook c8, bishop d2, bishop g7, and now e4 is played. And as I said, it's a bit too early, because now also bishop on g7 is potentially pointing towards d4, and now Gukesh plays brilliant c5. In my opinion, it's a brilliant move, just because he creates you know, some tension in the center. He is looking towards capturing on d4, he's potentially attacking e4, so great move. B takes c5, and now b takes c5 back. He doesn't care about the bishop on b7 because he will recapture on d4 with pawn. So e5 is played by Vladimir, and now c takes d4, e takes f6, d takes f3, bishop c1, and now queen f6, still leaving the bishop unprotected. But you might be wondering what's the idea. Rook b7 was played, now knight c5, and after rook b4, a5, rook b5, h5. It turns out now h4 is a huge threat, and d4, d3 is one of the ideas. So just basically pushing the pawns in the middle. Rook d1, h4, knight h1, and yes, black are down a piece, but they have some activity and they have a huge c3 pass pawn. Knight goes to e6 with the idea of knight d4. We have rook d5, knight d4 is played, and now queen b6 setting up a pin. So white gotta do something. They go king f1, bishop d4, a4, rook goes to d8, bishop b5, bishop e3, trying to trade, takes, rook d4. Now rook b4, queen d6, king g7, and now I'll pause here and pause for 5-10 seconds. Can you find the move that Gukesh played, which wins the game immediately? That move is actually kinda cute. Gukesh plays rook b3. So the idea right now is, of course, to capture this knight. If queen takes b3, there is king d3 check, and basically if king f2, queen d2, if king g1, queen f3, if king e1, I believe there is just simple rook e8, and black will win the rook no matter what happens. So what we saw in the game, let's say if in the following position king d2 is played instead, there is queen b4, and you're putting a lot of pressure here, and if knight e4 protecting this one, you can simply take and then take on d3, and you're up in exchange. So that's exactly what happened. Queen d2, queen b4, and after bishop g6, basically trying to get this on the board. Gukesh played simple rook c3, and Vladimir basically resigned. I'm not sure bishop c2 if it's transmission error or whatever, but here, I mean, black can simply play rook f3, and it looks like the queen is lost just because, let's say, king e2, rook f2, and if king e1, rook f1, king e2, rook f2, and you still win a queen and then win the rook. So just like that, Gukesh is back, he wins the game, but who is not back, or... okay, we'll take a look at this game. Nodirbek Abdusattorov, who is the sole leader of the tournament coming into this round, he's 1 point ahead of the field, is playing Anish Giri. Let's see what happened in this chess game. So Nodirbek starts with d4, again another d4 game, c4 is 6, and once again we have Nimzo on the board, d5 takes. So in the Fedoseev Gukesh game, queen c2 was played, now it's knight f3 instead. So bishop f4, knight f4, rook c1, knight c6. I'm not sure chess.com evaluation went off tracks, because I'm not sure why this is a miss, why rook c1 is a mistake, it's all theory. Knight d2, and now g5, bishop e3, knight c3 takes, bishop a3, rook b1, f5. The idea is of course to catch the bishop, so g3 is played, bishop d6 once again, the idea is to catch the bishop, and now f4, castle. It's a wild position. Anish is not afraid to play something like this. I mean, I would be afraid to play this in a board chess game because, okay, the position opens up, rook g1 is coming, what's going to happen? Rook b5 is played. I mean, it's a wild game. Knight h4, knight s7, e3, c6, rook b2, f3. And, you know, I saw a lot of comments online that basically those guys are playing freestyle chess early in the game. h3, b5, king d3, rook f7, king d1, rook b8, h8, g4, bishop g4, bishop h3, takes, and now king d7, attacking the rook. Rook goes back, queen g4, king goes to c2, now bishop a3 attacking the rook goes to b3, and now bishop c1 takes, and knight c8. The idea is of course to bring the knight to the action by playing knight d6, knight d4, knight d6, knight c4 in the future. Knight c4 is not an idea, probably just knight d4, because you will kind of close the queen, you will attack f2, and maybe even g3 and f2 ideas. So queen f1 is played, king g7, queen d1, h5, e4 takes d5. So the position opens up, queen d4 is the idea. Again, it's kind of scary to play with both sides, but Anish is taking the pawn with queen. Very smart, because now king d4 is no longer possible. c4 takes, and now knight d6 takes, knight a4. The idea, of course, being if b takes c6 is played, there is rook b3, and now after it takes, black win an exchange and then win this pawn. So what we have on the board is rook d4, knight c5, rook c3, rook b5, and now rook b7, rook is coming. Both rooks are actually coming, and Anish slowly converts. I said yesterday that unless Nodirbek starts to lose games, nobody is going to catch him, and now finally, you know, he's making some mistakes in the game. Rook c1, and now rook c2 and rook b5. King e5, king d6, rook b2, rook b4, and now it looks like it's all over just because there are ideas of e3, f2, and let's see what happens. So rook c4, c5, and now e3, brilliant pawn break. f2 is coming, there is no defense, ef is coming, no checks with knight, so it's all over for white. Rook h4 is played, and now after rook b1, finally Nodirbek admits his loss. There is no escape, because now e2, either e2 is coming or e takes f2. Let's say knight f4. Yeah, probably e2 is, well, it's good enough. If knight d3, rook c1 check first, and now if king b2, there is rook d1. Pretty simple. And if knight c1 e1, if king d2, there is rook d1, something like king c3, rook d3, and you promote the queen and win the game. And just like that, Anish beats the leader of the tournament. And who got close to Nodirbek after this round is Yavahir Sindrov. He is still half a point below Nodirbek with 5.5 for Nodirbek. Then Yagis, Hans, and Jordan 4.5. They're still within striking distance from Nodirbek. And as far as pairing goes, in round number 9, I'm not sure when it's gonna happen. Round number 9, January 27. That's, yes, we have a day of day of tomorrow, basically. Yes, okay, I got it. So within striking distance, Nodirbek, he's playing against Yavahir. So yes, you can see it here. Yavahir with white, Nodirbek with black. It's gonna be an exciting game, so we gotta watch out for that. I'm not able to make a recap on Tuesday. My bad. I'll be playing an Nodirbek Chess tournament. Jordan plays against Vincent, Arjun with Hans, Prak Aravin, Titan against Yagis, Gukesh Matthias, Anish Vladimir Fedoseev. So I honestly will be rooting for Yavahir in this game just because I want the intrigue in this tournament. Draw would be good just because maybe Yagis, Hans, or Jordan can win as well, and then again it's only half a point. And it's gonna be a good fight in the very end. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the recap of round number 10 probably, and on Wednesday and tomorrow and Tuesday I'll post some other videos I already recorded. So enjoy them. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.